to the block. I'm Emily Proud, Blake Brockermeyer, and Coach Carl Reed also here. Happy Thursday, happy Picks Day. This is the time of the week we hope to make you a little bit of money, but I do feel the need to add a disclaimer here. Bet at your own risk. Here are the games we're picking on today's show. We put them in opposite order of interest, so we're going to make you wait for what we believe are the most compelling matchups. We got Notre Dame, UNC, Florida, Tennessee, K-State and Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Arkansas, Texas A&M. But first, let's make it easier for you to decide who to listen to with these picks. Here's a look at those current standings. Carl, what an impeccable week for you. Both of you guys almost went undefeated last week. I think Blake dropped one, not against the spread. He was perfect against the spread, but one just straight up. So this is a neck and neck race, and really well done, you guys. You're making some great picks. And guess what? At the end of the show, the guys will give you their lock of the week, so make sure to stick around for that. But as promised, starting things off with Notre Dame at North Carolina. Essentially a pick 'em here. The Tar Heels are 1.5-point favorites. You have to think a lot of that is due to Drake May and the offense. But Blake, what does Gene Chizik need to do with his defense to win this game?
Gene Chizik, please listen to me. You have to double team and bracket Michael Mayer. He's the only guy on Notre Dame's offense that can beat you. It's real simple. Make him take him away, and you will stop Notre Dame. This is the easiest matchup of the week, I think. Notre Dame's got one great player in Michael Mayer. Got to stop him if you're going to win. Notre Dame's offense is 104th in the country in yards per play, going against UNC's defense, which is 114th in yards per play. So I think Al Golden is going to have some stuff to confuse Drake May, but I think North Carolina's offense is going to be too much for him, and I've got UNC winning this game 35-25.
Well, Blake, I'm going to go in another direction on you here. I don't think that Gene Chizik's defense is going to be able to stop Michael Mayer. I don't see it. I don't think they're going to bracket him. I think Notre Dame is starting to get focused and realizing that there's a great sense of urgency in South Bend for them to improve as a football team. I'm going to go with Notre Dame here, 28, UNC 24. I'm going to go with Notre Dame to win this one.
I like it. We're starting things off with some disagreement, so that'll certainly change the rankings for next week. Let's head to the banks of the Tennessee River. Number 11 Tennessee is a 10.5-point favorite over the visiting Gators. Now, this stat has been thrown out all week long. The Vols have lost 16 of the last 17. We know that, but I bet you didn't know this. This is the first time Tennessee has been a touchdown favorite over Florida in 46 years. That is insane. Carl, does that give you any pause with this game?
Well, I think the University of Tennessee just has a better football team this year than the Florida Gators. And I think that right now, Anthony Richardson still has not proven that he can go in a big-time game and beat you throwing the football. And I think they're going to come out and force him to become a passer. Tennessee is running a lot of plays on offense. They play at a very fast pace. I think they're going to be able to score at will. I'm going Tennessee with a big win this weekend, 42-14 over the Florida Gators.
Yeah, I really like Tennessee as well in this spot this weekend. This is Florida's first road game of the season, which is pretty ironic. And they're fixing to run into a buzzsaw at Tennessee on Saturday versus a very explosive Tennessee offense. Tennessee's also got the number 4 rush defense in the SEC. They're going to have to keep Anthony Richardson in the pocket, play a lot of zone coverage on the back end, maybe slow rush him a little bit where he's not able to run very much, and make his decision-making and accuracy a problem. So that's what Tennessee needs to do to win this game. If they're playing man coverage, and I'm a Tennessee fan on Saturday, I'm going to be very concerned about this game. But Tennessee just needs to play smart, and I've got them winning this game 42-17.
Okay. Something that's kind of hard to believe is I have as many touchdowns through the air as Anthony Richardson. Carl, so do you. Blake, so do you. 0. So, Carl, if Anthony Richardson is able to get things fixed on the road, tough ask, how does he do it?
Well, he has to do it by being confident in himself and going through his read progression and stepping up in the pocket. A lot of guys that are running quarterbacks, they have to struggle as soon as you take their first read away. At most, they might look to the second read before they take off. He's got to step up in the pocket and find his second and third receivers if he wants to have success in the passing game.
Florida has to be able to run the football, and they have to be able to throw the short and intermediate passes and complete them, easy completions, get Anthony Richardson in a flow for the game for them to have any chance in this game. They're surely not going to let him just run all over him like he did against Utah. So they need to be smart. Florida, their roster this year on offense does not have the playmakers that they will have in the future under Billy Napier. So Anthony Richardson just needs a lot more reps, and he needs some more talent around him for them to get this thing rolling down in Gainesville.
Meanwhile, Kansas State needs a get-right game after an upset loss at the hands of Tulane, but they'll have to pull up an upset of their own at Oklahoma. So, Blake, do they do it?
I think they keep it closer than most people think. I think it's going to be a tough ask for them. Chris Kleiman's had a lot of success under Lincoln Riley's been 3-0 against the spread, beat him twice outright. This is a different team. At night, especially, is going to be a very tough task for them. Dylan Gabriel is playing very well for them offensively, and Oklahoma's defense looks really good this year, and they're going to be a problem this year on defense. So I think with Deuce Vaughn, Adrian Martinez, Malik Knowles, they're going to get theirs. I think it's closer than you think, but I've got OU 37, Kansas State 29. So Kansas State, I think, will cover.
Chris Kleiman and Kansas State have had a lot of success against Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma teams the last few years, but I think Brent Venables is going to bring something to the table differently defensively. I think that they'll have a superior plan in trying to slow down Deuce Vaughn at the running back position. Venables does a lot of things on defense that they may not have seen before, and I think because of that, I'm going to give the edge here to Oklahoma. Oklahoma has also been able to score a ton of points quick, fast, and in a hurry. I think Oklahoma dominates this game and wins 38-24 against K-State.
Blake, there was a lot of excitement for this Kansas State offense. You mentioned Adrian Martinez and Deuce Vaughn. They only put up 10 points last week, again, in a loss to Tulane. Was that an aberration, or what's happened to this offense?
I think it's an aberration. It's just, any given Saturday you can lose. We've proven this 4 weeks in a row now that you better bring your A game every single week. Tulane's a well-coached team. Every year they usually get somebody. So Kansas State will refocus this week. I expect them to bring their A game to Norman, and they'll get it going. They're a very well-coached team. They've got some talent, pretty good offensive line. So I think that was just a one game that they just weren't as focused as they need to be.
Yeah, and you got to assume that the Wildcats are pretty fired up to play Oklahoma too. I'm sure that they're wanting to prove themselves that they're not the team that they were last weekend. Well, the largest spread we're picking here is Ohio State, an 18.5-point favorite, hosting Wisconsin. Now, we know the Buckeye offense can put up points necessary, but can that defense hold off the Badgers, Carl?
Yeah, I think so. I think Coach Knowles is doing a great job so far with the Ohio State defense, and they're going to continue to get better from week to week the longer that they have to grab on to his system and really mentally take everything in. Wisconsin came out and was kind of lifeless against a Washington State team that a lot of people had picked them to beat. I don't think they have enough at the skill positions to go against Ohio State, and I also think Ohio State is not going to have a problem with them on the interior line. I'm going to go with Ohio State here, 42-14.
Yeah, I've got Ohio State as well. I do think Wisconsin will cover. Ohio State has won 8 straight games against Wisconsin and 25 straight home games in the Big Ten. So it's a tough task for Wisconsin to go into the horseshoe at night and beat these guys. CJ Stroud is steady Eddie. He seems to be in rhythm right now. They're looking a lot better on offense than they did week 1 versus Notre Dame. Jim Leonard is one of the elite defensive coordinators in college football who will be mentioned for numerous head coaching jobs and NFL jobs. And so I think he'll take the Notre Dame blueprint. They've got some good players on defense. I think the way that you can possibly get to Ohio State's defense is through the air, taking shots against their cornerbacks. I just don't think Wisconsin's going to be able to do that. I've got Ohio State 37, Wisconsin 18.
We don't talk a lot about Wisconsin's offense. We discuss their defense. We know that if they're going to win this game, if they're going to compete in this game, that the defense has got to be ready to go. But Carl, I'll ask you, is it possible, is there a world where Wisconsin can keep up at all offensively?
If Braylon Allen has a career day, it's going to take him. We've talked about him early this summer in terms of possibly being in the mix for the Heisman Trophy. He would have to have that moment this Saturday. I'm talking about a 200-yard, 3-touchdown type rushing game where he completely controls the tempo and the flow of the game for Wisconsin. If he can find a way to do that, then that would be the only chance that Wisconsin would have to upset the Buckeyes or even keep it close.
Yeah, I think if Wisconsin gets in heavy personnel, multiple tight ends, and just pounds the rock with Braylon Allen, and then they take their shots down the field on occasion, that's their best chance for success against Ohio State.
All right, it's all going down in Jerry's world for the Southwest Classic. Texas A&M and Arkansas, a ranked SEC matchup where the Aggies are the 2-point favorite. So Blake, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, this is always a great game. A&M, this is their first road game, I guess you would say. It's a neutral site game, but they played at home all season so far. They have a big advantage in special teams, and if they could throw the ball effectively, then they would have a big advantage in the passing game because Arkansas is last in the country in pass defense. I just don't think that that's their style of offense. I don't see them being able to do that effectively over the course of a long game. Arkansas has a number 1 rush defense in the SEC. So that's kind of what A&M likes to do offensively. So I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to come down to the wire like it seems like this game sometimes or usually does. I've got Arkansas winning 28-24, and I think it's going to be a really entertaining game to watch.
Big game in Jerry's world, neutral site game. 50% of the tickets go to Texas A&M. 50% of the tickets go to Arkansas. This has turned into a big-time game down in Dallas. Jerry Jones, an alum of the University of Arkansas. This is an exciting environment, big-time matchup in the SEC West. I don't think that Texas A&M is going to be able to score enough and challenge Arkansas secondary well enough to make this a game. I think that KJ Jefferson is going to have a huge game and put the Razorbacks on his back offensively. And I'm going to go with the University of Arkansas here, 31 to Texas A&M's 24.
Okay, so you guys are predicting a happy Jerry Jones, but if you've watched a single Cowboys game, you know that iconic shot of him sitting up in the booth looking all upset when they inevitably lose a game. So if that happens, if we see that upset Jerry Jones shot up in the booth, why did Texas A&M win this game? What are we saying afterwards if they are able to pull it off? We'll start with you, Carl.
You're saying that Texas A&M's defense dominated the game, that they came out and found a way to slow Arkansas down at not only the quarterback position, but the running back position, and took them out of rhythm offensively. Texas A&M does have a defense that could suffocate you if you don't get in rhythm right away. And so if Texas A&M wins the game, it'll be on the back of their defense.
You agree with that, Blake?
I think it'll be more on. I think special teams could be a huge factor in this game. A&M will have a big advantage in special teams against Arkansas, and I think, like I said earlier, A&M is going to have to open up their passing game a little bit more than they have been, be a little less conservative offensively, and like I said, Arkansas has got the last rated pass defense in the country, so that's something that can be got. I just don't know if A&M is willing to open it up like that. So we'll find out Saturday, but it's going to be a really good game, I would expect.
Yes, we will. That's why we put it last on our list, because we are most excited to see that game. But there's a lot of great action this week. So we're going to open it up with your block lock. Carl, make us some cash.
The University of Michigan versus Maryland. In a game like this, Michigan has finally found their guy in J.J. McCarthy. They're going with them directly in this football game. I think that Michigan is going to come out and have a huge game. It's going to be really tough for Maryland to stop them scoring. I'm picking Michigan to win and to win in the spread also. I think you bet with the Michigan Wolverines in this one.
I've got Rutgers and Iowa are playing this weekend. At Rutgers at night. Rutgers fans are going to show up in prime time. Iowa has the second worst offense yards per play in the country. Rutgers has the number 2 run defense and number 2 against the run and yards per play in the country. I think Rutgers not only covers this game but wins this game, and I think it's going to be a big win for Rutgers this weekend.
I like it. I like it. Okay, Carl, I got to ask you this. Do you worry at all about Michigan playing probably, this isn't a real stat, but the easiest non-conference schedule that's ever been played in the history of college football? Do you worry about now they finally have a test?
No, I think they have a really good team. I think you play who you play. The schedules are done way in advance. I think that Michigan has a team and they've got their program to the point where they're trying to continue to stay at elite status. And I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be a star at the quarterback position. I'm not concerned about their light schedule in the beginning at all.
Blake, how many points do you think Rutgers needs to score to win this game?
Probably not that many, but I don't know. I think, you got to think Iowa defensively might score a touchdown. So I would say Iowa's probably going to end up with around, let's say 17 at most. So Rutgers just needs one more than that. So I think Rutgers gets it done, and I think it will be a big home field advantage at night. Like I said, the fans are excited, and I know some of my buddies that work here at 24/7 Sports will be at the game, pumped up as well.
Certainly. We got a great slate of games for week 4, and thank you guys for breaking it all down, and thank you viewers for joining us here on The Block. Enjoy all the action this weekend, and we'll see you next week.